Gaeilgeoirí is Misha Siobhan. Siobhan here from Bitesize Irish. Now, let's find out how to improve your Irish at home. I've got a few tips here, which I've been thinking of for quite a while. And since pretty much everyone's at home these days, these are quite useful, I think, for most of the population. Not only of Ireland, but of the world over. Of course, you could also use these, even if you're still working or in different circumstances. So let's get to it. My first tip here is éist leis an raidió. Listen to the radio. There are a number of Irish language radio stations. They're not only available on FM radio, but also online, which is essential if you live outside of Ireland. Stations that broadcast as Gaeilge in Irish include Raidió na Gaeltachta, Raidió na Lifa, and Raidió Foghlaim. You'll find links to these stations' websites in this video's description. Even if the radio is just on in the background and you've little notion of what's being said, listening to Irish over a long duration of time will get you accustomed to the language's sounds, and words will soon begin to jump out. You might even surprise yourself by how much you understand once you get used to hearing spoken Irish on a regular basis. If you've been studying Irish for some time or grew up in Ireland, you'll probably find yourself gradually understanding more and more. It would be a good idea to switch on the radio every day for half an hour at least, and I'm sure if you stick to that, you'll see results after a while, depending on how much Irish you already know. Also, everyone learns at their own pace and in their own time and in their own way. So if you feel that you're lagging behind others, not necessarily. Everyone learns differently. Everyone has a different starting point. Now the next tip I have is lé leabhar agus éist leis an Closleabhair. Read a book and listen to its audiobook. The Irish for audiobook is Closleabhair. A number of audiobooks have been made available for free on SoundCloud by numerous publishers. You'll find some links to these videos in the description. You can pick an audiobook and then buy the print copy or the ebook, if available. There are different methods for approaching reading and listening to a book. You can give a go at reading a few pages, or however much you want, and then listen to the audiobook, or you can listen as you read to see the words as you hear them. This will not only enhance your reading skills, but also your listening comprehension. Having the words in front of you will help you recognise the spoken word easier, and will also give you the word spelling so that you can search on one of the online dictionaries or in the print dictionary of your choice. Now, my third tip is scríobh scripteanna comhrá. Write scripts of conversations. Even at the best of times, it can be difficult to string a sentence together, especially in a language you're learning. It can be even more difficult to find the right words and phrases when you're speaking Irish in a real-life situation, as you're being put on the spot. Writing scripts of conversations you could imagine yourself having can really help, as your mind will now already know what to say, as you have experience in having such a conversation. This isn't mere rote learning, as you're creating the conversation yourself, and it gives you practice in forming sentences. So when you'll need to improvise on the spot, you'll be more likely to know how to put the concept that you already have in your mind into words. This is an especially useful exercise if you've no one to speak to on a regular basis. You can read it aloud and record your voice to listen back on what you've been saying. Keep these recordings and you'll hear how you've been improving over time. As you learn more and get advice from others, you'll find yourself amending your scripts and improving over time. This improvement, of course, will lend to your confidence, so you'll get way more confident when you're speaking to others. So now, my next tip is Coimeád dialann. Keep a diary. Keeping a diary is a great way of improving your literacy and vocabulary, even in your native language. This will give you regular opportunities to talk about what you've been doing throughout the day. This way you'll learn to speak about your everyday life, and you'll also find yourself discovering and using some very important common vocabulary. You can start off small with just simple sentences and then gradually expand more and more on your daily activities and thoughts, as well as daily events you might hear in the news or elsewhere. Now, the next one is Foghlaim amhráin. Learn songs. Many people find learning songs a great way to increase their vocabulary and improve their pronunciation. There are really a lot of advantages to knowing at least one song in Irish. Not only are you using Irish when singing in Irish, but it also gives you an opportunity to use Irish with others who may not even necessarily know Irish. A fun thing to do could be to learn a song in Irish, perhaps begin with the shorter ones that are usually popular among children, and then record it and share it with friends and family, or even further abroad. And last but not least, comhrá or Ghaeilgeoirí. Get to know Irish speakers and learners. Of course, languages are social objects. They're to be used to communicate with others. The thing is though, to use Irish with another person, the other person needs to also know Irish. You may be like many people across Ireland and the world over, who either don't know any Irish speakers, or at least no one who's willing to speak Irish to them. In recent times, due to necessity, you've probably found yourself, as well as many others you know, getting used to communicating online more than ever before, and also in many new ways. There has been a recent increase in online events, such as pop-up Gaeltachts, which would have been previously held in a pub, but are now being held online. There are also many new comhrá, or conversation circles, popping up online. So why not get in touch with any Irish language group you come across, as they may be offering online conversation opportunities. Being active in online Irish language groups can give you the chance to find language exchange partners who you could practice your Irish with by messaging or video calling, or by any other online communication means that works for you. Of course, Irish is for using. You just have to find a chance to use it. I hope you found these tips helpful and that you'll find a way to implement them in your everyday life. Ná dearmad, Gaeilge gach lá. Don't forget, Irish every day.